Many thanks for staying on News 360 to the details now. And the video in which some judges and other judicial staff have been implicated in a bribery scandal is being premiered following the withdrawal of an application for injunction filed by lawyers of one of the judges.
Now, the lawyers for one of the High Court judges allegedly involved, Justice Atta Derry, withdrew an application to prevent Tiger IPI from showing the movie.
Meanwhile, an application for interlocutory injunction has been served on the conference center not to show the video. Komla Kluche was there for TV3 as well as Godfrey Tadam, and they have filed the following report.
Lawyers for Justice Paul Atta Derry filed 3 separate applications, all aimed at stopping Anas from airing the video showing him and 33 other judges and magistrates allegedly taking bribes to compromise cases before them. Lead counsel Nick Bakpo Samuel Ado told the court, presided over by Appeals Court Judge Justice Georgina Tokonu, sitting as an additional High Court judge, that the premiering would prejudice a substantive case and his client's right to fair hearing. He prayed the court grant his request to restrain managers of the Accra International Conference Center as venue from screening the video. The Attorney General has entered a response which was served the lawyers of Justice Derry. They, however, pleaded more time and adjournment to study the response. Justice Georgina Tokonu declined the request, giving counsel 10 minutes to either move the application or withdraw it since the movie was to be premiered today. Counsel moved an ex parte motion for substituted service, saying all attempts to serve Tiger IPI had been unsuccessful. The court granted the application to serve the defendant by posting notices of the writ or courier. Counsel, after 10 minutes, withdrew the application on Anas and Tiger IPI. Hearing for an application for interlocutory injunction to prevent the conference center from it showing the video would be heard on October 13. Lawyer for Anas, Kisia Jaben, insists his client has a contract with the conference center to show the movie, which has been duly paid for. Justice Atta Derry is fighting back, challenging how the investigative journalist got the recording. The legal tussle for this judicial service bribery scandal has just begun. Lawyers for some of the High Court judges are challenging the constitutionality of the 5-member committee that is investigating the whole scandal. They say the committee is not legal, and what would become of the case going forward. The lawyers said that they are bent on making the whole scandal null and void, and to make a case that Anas has absolutely no case against the lawyers. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Supreme Court, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Accra International Conference Center is hosting hundreds of patrons despite the application for an interlocutory injunction served on the conference center not to allow its premises to be used to show the video.
TV3 News caught up with a few of the moments before the start of the premiere.
The confirmation that there is corruption in Ghana and that we need to do something about it. If what we have heard is what we are going to see and is confirmed, then it's embarrassing for people that we have held in high esteem in Ghana. Politicians like us are part of it. People with positions of trust are part of it. I understand he even done some work against Parliament. And it becomes embarrassing for a country such as Ghana, and I think we could have done better. We should, whilst it's something that is shocking, we should seize the opportunity and reflect and see what is the best thing we can do, even if you are starting from the little ones at kindergarten, to change this culture where you must pay something necessarily before you get public service. And I think that is something that is wrong.
This is patriotic Ghanaian to try and unearth corruption. And I think that we should all give him a chance, look at the evidence, and make sure that whatever he's saying is the truth. And then we can all stand up and support him and send a warning to everybody that Anas is there. If you won't stop corruption, then he will stop you.
Well, I think that all this has been done with a view of promoting justice, promoting accountability and transparency within our system. And of course, people have said, if at all there should be wrongdoing, it shouldn't be in the judiciary, and judges for that matter. And I think that this is very important, and that is why the numbers are here. Yes, as you said, yes, there are legal suits, multiple legal suits here and there, but it's all about rule of law, and I'm confident that at the end of the day, that is what will prevail.
Yes. For me, integrity starts with all of us. We've had several programs, several industries have been under the searchlight. The question I'm asking journalists is that if the light is shown on all of us, would we stand the test? That is what all of us should learn out of this and see the things that we're able to do to transform our nation. We all should be able to pass the integrity test. And I'm hoping that this would let us all know that it starts with us. It starts with me. Would I pass the test? Would you pass the test?
It's something that every Ghanaian should be worried about, and we want to see the extent to which the video reflects what the media has been saying.
The most important thing is about lessons. This is a bribery scandal that has hit the judiciary, one important arm of state. What would change, what might not change?
You mean viewing it? It may confirm my own perception about what is happening in the country, because I've had the occasion to mount a platform and present a paper myself on corruption. So this will help to clarify my own thoughts as to whether my thoughts and expectations have been confirmed or otherwise.
And would want to bring you latest visuals from the International Conference Center. We know that the first premiering started around 5:15 thereabout this evening, and looking at our time in studio a few minutes after 7 p.m., it is likely that that first premiering should be ending or may have just ended. And our man on the ground, Komla Kluche, has also been picking the thoughts of a number of people who entered to watch the first premiering, and he's joined us to tell us. Komla, take it over.
He's playing host to the premiering of the judge's bribery scandal video done by the undercover investigative journalist Anas Armel Anas. Show started somewhere a little after 4 p.m., not exactly at 4 p.m. And those were views of patrons who trooped in early on. We sampled their views, they gave us their thoughts as to what their expectations were. But we can speak to a few people to find out whether the expectations have been met. I have Christian Sese and then one Ernest Autry here. Let me just find out briefly from them. A very good evening to you, sir. Christian, have you or what have you seen and what can you describe briefly?
Well, what I've seen is a little bit worrying, it's disturbing. I think that it's a sort of reawakening to all of us. It's a reminder that we have to get back to God, because it appears that in this country now, it's money that is ruling. It appears that money can do anything in this country, and that's quite unfortunate, and that's quite shameful, because if you look at what was unfolding, you find out that in certain cases, the monies that were being taken as bribes were not anything to go by. So you really try to understand the motivation for doing that. But it appears that some do it because it's their nature, and some might also do it because of maybe the stress and the constraints.
Finally, what's your expectation met?
Oh, I think it's a reflection of what really is happening in the whole society, and my expectations are that this will really reawaken us and detest. We will try to detest what is happening now, and perhaps get back to God, because it appears that the country, most of the people has forgotten the principles of God.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Christian. Let me sample the views of Autry as well. You have been sitting in there for over 2 hours. What have you watched? What can you describe?
It's really scandalous, I must say. If you look at the fact that justice can be put on sale and be sold to the one who's able to pay the highest price, then it's really leaves much to be desired. you know, when it comes to when you're watching the video and you see cases of where people are taking money, and some of the monies are really ridiculous, then you wonder what is the motivation for it. And you see that some of the judges are living in conditions that are very, very detestable. But that is not a justification for what they've done. And that should not be a justification for what they've done. I think what we should be looking at is how can the system be reformed? But at the same time also for those in the hinterlands who are really deprived, who are living in deplorable situations, how can the system improve their living conditions? I don't think that we should ever come to a situation where issues that relate to life and death should be a matter of the person who pays the price. It should rather be a matter of principle and by law, and those who deserve justice should receive justice.
All right, okay, thanks so much. Those were the views of two people who have watched, and we have sampled their views, Christian and then Ernest. Well, there are a lot of people in there, and if you go in, I mean, if we could just go in a little bit and just show you the movie is still on, and with the camera you can just see it's still being shown there. This is the first one, and then the second one will be showed after 8 p.m. It's a process, and it's the movie that would be shown throughout the night, and I can tell you scores of people are gathered outside as well, hoping to catch a glimpse of the second part of the movie, or the 8 p.m. one from the Accra International Conference Center. That's how the situation is like here from the conference center.